Hello and welcome to Mediumship Matters with me, clairvoyant medium Hannah Macintyre, and we're on episode 15. It's been such an interesting week energetically for me. There's such strange times happening for us light workers in this time, in this new age, which I know I was talking about last episode. So don't worry, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole again. But I think, it's a difficult time because this rising that we're in, this move into the new energies, the new frequencies, on a personal level, for me, is creating some really interesting experiences in my energy. So this week, I've been very much stuck between feeling a bit sort of meh, a bit, well, I'll get round to it. I don't want to do it right now. Then with little spurts of energy and insight and excitement and pushing me forward, and then going back to just, whoa, whatever, I'll sit this one out and wait to see how long it takes. So definitely sort of doing the energetic okey cokey at the moment. I don't know if that resonates with you too. I feel that there's lots of ideas and inspiration coming in, but it isn't the time for action just yet. It's just time to receive and integrate. So that's my week so far. I've had some amazing readings with some absolutely incredible people doing some amazing work this week. So it's been really, really enjoyable. It's always fun working with people who are light workers and using that light in so many different ways to make a difference and make a change. So this week I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, mediumship as a whole, how it works when you're connecting to a spirit, why some of us get some bits of information and others get others. And but I also wanted to talk to you, and I'm going to start today by talking to you about signs. Now, signs are something you hear talked about an awful lot with the spirit world. And I know that, spirit are with us all. Everybody has spirit around them every moment of every day. But, it's hard to feel them. And I actually don't think you'd want to feel them all the time if they were with you. It'd probably drive you around the bend. But certainly at the beginning of your journey, when you're trying to open up to spirit and you're trying to feel their presence, half the time you think you could just be imagining it. And the spirit world understand that. They understand that we are spirit, but we're in a physical container having a physical experience. And so they bring us signs and symbols to let us know that they haven't forgotten about us, to let us know that they're with us, to encourage us, to bring us love. So I'd like to give you a cohesive, complete list of all the signs I've ever had from spirit, but actually some of them have been so specific, and ones that I know, my students and people around me have been things that probably wouldn't resonate with you, because that's the point. The spirit world know exactly what to show us so that we can feel their presence, but that's a personal thing. It's got to mean something to you. So, we have all the standard ones: angel numbers, feathers, music, smells, orbs. And I'm going to talk a little bit about all of those. But I also want you to be open to your own signs and your own feelings and your own things that the spirit world can bring you, because that's how you get a real experience. It has to be unique. Now, the first one I'm going to talk about is feathers. Now, feathers is always an interesting one because I don't believe that angels have wings. I don't believe that angels have wings like we believe they have wings. I have been told that it is the way that the light because angels are such high vibrational beings of light, the way that the light refracts around them makes it look like they're winged. And what's happened is, as humans have evolved, we've become more and more trained to seeing them as winged, feathered creatures. And so now that's what we see because that's what we expect to see. But, angels have no ego. They're spirit. They're not worried. They're not there going, oh, for goodness sake, I went to go and work with Hannah the other day, and you know what? She was only looking at my wings. Such a waste of time. They are spirits. So they will work with what we expect. So I do believe that feathers come from the spirit world sometimes. I do believe that they are brought to put a spring in your step, to let you know that you're not alone, to show you love. And I do believe that they come from angels as well as spirit guides, but not because they are feathered, if that makes sense, just because that's what we associate with them. Now, I went to see Russell Kane with my husband, before lockdown. And it was so funny because he started one of his rants. Now, I love Russell Kane's rants. They crack me up. And he started one of his rants about what a load of crap mediumship is and psychics and stuff like that, which was, funny. And the whole way through, my husband was elbowing me in the side, laughing. And, one of the things he was saying was that, people get excited about a feather and it's just a pigeon that flew over that was taking a crap and dropped a feather at the same time. And I'm not going to sit here today and say to you that every single feather that I have ever seen, I believe came from spirit. But I have had moments of real profound, amazing experiences with feathers. I can't even think of the words. I mean, the energy of it, because of spirit sending them to me at times when I needed them. So I may have mentioned on this podcast, and so forgive me if I have. Sometimes I feel like I just say the same things again and again and again. But for me, feathers have come at very unexpected and very amazing times. So once, I got in my car and I was having a bad day and I turned on the engine and the blowers turned on and a feather shot out and hit me in the face. Once when I was at an exercise class and I was very bogged down with some very human worries, money and stuff like that, a feather fell out of my bag. When my grandmother was dying, I had to go to the hospital to see her, to say goodbye, and I knew it was going to be very difficult, and I knew that everybody that was there was going to be having a very difficult time. And it was my first time of losing somebody as an adult, and knowing that I wasn't going to sort of be supported through it, that I might be needed to support others, if that makes sense. And as I was walking into the hospital, I asked the spirit world to show me that they were with me. And no word of a lie, a feather just appeared out of the air and floated at eye level beside me for like many, many meters as I walked into the hospital, just beside me. And I just wanted, the people you always get in the wheelchairs with the drips attached, having a fag at the doorstep to a hospital. I just wanted to grab one of them and go, can you see this? Can you see this? This is amazing. So those to me are my sort of profound feathers. I, looked outside my back door once and honestly, a feather just appeared out of nowhere. Didn't float down from above. It appeared out of nowhere and danced around in front of me. And those ones are the ones where I know it was spirit. I know it was. I once did a dog walk with Monty and we were walking through the woods and, it's a 5K walk. And every 2 or 3 steps, there was a white feather in my path. And because I'm me, I even tested it and tried to take a different route and the feathers weren't there. They were only on my route. That said, the other day I left my house to get into my car and the driveway was covered in feathers because somebody had squashed a pigeon down the road. I don't think that was the spirit world. I think that was just a squashed pigeon. Rest in peace. So, I think there's an energy that comes when it's from the spirit world. There's a feeling. You go, oh, is that for me? And you are aware of it. There's an energy. There's something that draws your attention to it. There's a feeling. There's a knowing when you know it's the spirit world giving you a sign. The other one, angel numbers. So angel numbers, for those of you that don't know, are repeating numbers like 111, 222, 333, etc. In fact, when I started recording this podcast, it was 1414, which made me smile. Now, I get a lot of those. I see them on clocks. I see them on car number plates. I get them on documents. I get them on receipts from restaurants and things like that all the time. And I used to be really obsessed with looking them up and seeking a meaning. I used to have a book from Doreen Virtue that told me the meaning of every single angel number. But as I progressed, I realized that actually most of the messages were pretty similar. And if you were going to boil them down to one thing, it would be cooey. Hello, Hannah. We love you. We're with you. You're not on your own. And so that is always how I view angel numbers. I don't need to go into the deep, dark meanings of them. I just go, okay, hi, spirit world. How lovely to see you. I love you too. And that's that. That I used to get woken up during the night, but I really, really, really like my sleep. So I don't get woken up at 3:33 a.m. anymore because I asked them to stop that. Number plates, as I mentioned, are always a good one because my daughter Elodie and I we did a really long journey. I can't remember, we were coming back from Wales. It was a long, long journey in the car. And I asked Spirit to show us that they were with us. And no word of a lie, every car that overtook us on the motorway, every single car had an angel number in its number plate. And that was for over an hour. And you could feel the spirit world having fun with it. That's what was so amazing. Elodie and I were laughing our heads off and screaming. We were a bit giddy, every time another one cut in. By the time you were looking at like 40 cars in a row, it was so unbelievable. And I could feel the enjoyment of the spirit world getting excited at letting us know that they were with us. So that was a really good one for me. Now, I've got a really dear friend who's a student of mine, and she gets meaningful initials on number plates all the time. So she will get her grandfather's initials or her initials or things like that from the spirit world to let her know that they are with her. So open up to that. Music is a great one because it's that weird thing where you hear a song, you turn on your car engine, for example, and there's a song playing on the radio and it reminds you of somebody in the spirit world, or you just think, I haven't heard that song for ages, or a moment in time in your life and you think about it. So you've registered it and then you go into a shop and it's playing in the shop and you go, what? That's weird. And then you switch on the TV and it's playing in the background in the Queen Vic or something. And you go, okay, yeah, now I've got it. Now I hear it. So that's always a brilliant one because that can it's really quite profound when that happens, I think. Twice you go, okay, well, that could be a coincidence. Third time you go, okay, thank you. I've got it. I'm listening. The other day I came downstairs in my house and I could smell my grandfather, my dad's dad. And I'd forgotten what he smelt like until that moment. But I could really smell him. And, he's been in spirit a long time and he doesn't come through. He's never come through. And I was talking to my dad about it, and someone had been saying they were connecting with him in a reading, practice reading I was doing the other day, but I wasn't 100% sure it was him or not. And I sort of just sent out a thought to him saying, I would really love to hear from you. And it was so amazing to just walk through that room and go, wow, that smells like my grandfather. God, I'd forgotten that smell. And then to walk back through it 10 minutes later and go, God, it's still here. I can still smell him. I can still smell him here. So they're the kind of things that are the day-to-day signs that I get from the spirit world that they are with me. But I'd love to sit here and tell you that I never get it wrong, that I've always got it right. Now, some of you will know that I have vestibular ear migraines, and one of the effects of that is tinnitus. And, it was embarrassing when I had to see the tinnitus specialist at the hospital. And they said to me, "You say that your ears have been ringing for 5 years. Why have you not done anything about it?" For me to sort of go, "Well, I thought it was the spirit world," like a lunatic, because my ears have been ringing so much and I really thought it was spirit showing themselves to me, but I think it was actually my tinnitus. So, you can't always get it right, guys, but the spirit world aren't judging. They're just happy to be with you, happy to be trying to connect with you. So when those things happen for you, just send out a thank you. Just say, "I love you too, spirit," or "Granddad, thank you for showing. I can smell you. That's amazing." Just say hi. Say thank you. You don't have to do anything more than that, apart from those little things. And it's just opening up your energy more and more and more to the spirit world. Now, if you don't get signs or you're not aware of any signs, that is also something you can open up to spirit. Tell them. Say to them, "I'm sure you must have been trying to show me that you're with me, but I haven't received anything that I've noticed yet. So could you please bring me something really big that I can't ignore, so that I can know that you are with me," and then just wait and see what they bring you. But don't be afraid to explain. Don't be afraid to ask, to say, "I'd really like a sign today, please. I'm having a tough day and it would make me feel good." Let them bring those signs to you. And they've just reminded me as well, of course, of, robins. Robins are always a great sign from the spirit world because they always pop out unexpectedly to say hello and come a little bit nearer. And again, you can just feel that energy of something more exciting at work. So I thought I'd share with you some of my sort of more profound moments with signs from the spirit world because it's cool, it's fun. Who doesn't want to have these things? So I've talked to you about my grandmother and the feather. Another one that really sticks out for me was when things started moving for me with the spirit world. So as many of you know, I'm sure I've said it 100 times, but a year ago, I was in a very different place with my business, very different place with my mediumship. I had 888 followers on Facebook. This week I hit 23,000. So in a year, massive change has come for me. But a year ago today, I was peed off. I was frustrated. I knew something was coming. It felt like it had been coming for ages. I knew that the spirit world were making me let go of stuff. They'd asked me to stop selling crystals so that I could focus on other things. I knew that things were changing, but I couldn't work out why. I felt like I was releasing and giving, and nothing was coming back. And whenever I'm in a grump or I need a bit of motivation, I listen to a rapper called Iggy Azalea. It's not high vibrational stuff, guys. It's not spiritual rap, that's for sure. But she always puts a little pep in my step. And I was listening to one of her songs called "Change Your Life." And the chorus is literally, "I'm going to change your life. I'm going to change it. I'm going to change your life." That's basically what it says repeatedly. And it always makes me think of the spirit world and the things that they said to me and the things that they have done for me. And I pulled up to this roundabout and the song was playing and it was in the chorus. And as I got to the roundabout, an Arctic lorry went across in front of me. And on the truck, whatever the front bit is called, it said Iggy. And across the back of it, it said "Change Your Life" in massive letters on the side of the truck. And I was gobsmacked. I was absolutely gobsmacked. So that was a really good moment for me there. Just blew my mind. And then I've had a couple of really good ones with a good friend of mine, Nina. So once we went to see the Levelers at a concert hall, and we were talking about spirit guides, and she said that she felt that one of her guides was a fox. And I said, "Oh, that's amazing. I think I've got a fox too." And as we were driving home, I just sent out a thought to the spirit world saying, if Nina's guide is a fox and my guide is a fox, can you show us that it is a fox? And there was nothing. We drove home. I didn't tell her I'd done that. I didn't think anything of it. And we got to the road that I live on, and a fox walked out from the hedgerow and came and sat in the middle of the road and just stared at her car and sat there for a good few minutes. And it was so profound, so amazing. Yeah, it was really cool. And another time, I was with Nina we were on a course together, and we were sitting having our lunch in the sunshine, and she said, "Oh, it's my mum in spirit's birthday today." And I said, "Oh, Nina's mum, happy birthday to you. Give us a sign if you're with us." And honestly, within 30 seconds, I think six baby ducklings had just come out from nowhere and came and got on our laps quacking. And we could never find the mum. And Nina ended up adopting those ducklings and rearing them and ultimately setting them free. And her mum loved ducks. So it was all connected. It was all very, very clever, you know. And these might seem like, I don't know, little twee stories to you, but the experience of them in the moment is just so gobsmacking. You just can't believe the power of spirit. It's so amazing. And I've got two more ones that I want to share with you because they're just too good to miss. But I had a really, really good friend who wasn't a good friend for me. You know, those people that you absolutely adore. I think she was one of the great loves of my life. But it wasn't a healthy friendship or a healthy relationship for me. And we separated. Sounds like a weird thing to say for a friendship, but we separated. And then after some time apart, we reconnected, and we decided to have a day out with our children at the beach. I think it was one of the last times that we ever hung out together. And the kids were playing, and we were lying back in the sun with our eyes shut. And it's one of the few times that I've ever heard spirit as a separate entity to me. And I heard, "Open your eyes, look in the sky. There's an angel for you." And I sat up, and she said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Spirit have said there's an angel for me in the sky." And we looked up, and directly above us was a bona fide angel, and made of clouds. And what I will do is I will put the photo of that angel on my website in the podcast section. If you look up hannahmedium.co.uk and then go to the podcast section, I'll put a picture of it in there so that you can see, and it will be an unedited picture. And you will be able to see what I saw because I managed to take a photo of it because it was there for so long. But that angel, it couldn't have been anything else. It's not one of those ones where you see someone who says they've taken a photo of a ghost and it's just a blob and you're like, wow. It was absolutely, completely an angel and nothing else but that. And the other one that I just want to talk to you about is how when you're working with spirit, how you can you get in sort of a rhythm. If you can keep out of the way, you can get in a rhythm with the spirit world. And this funny experience happened to me, and it was so weird. So we live near on a country lane, and people rattle past our house at ridiculous speeds. And someone had driven down the road and obviously hit a branch of a tree. And then somebody had come along, and the tree branch was in the road, and they decided that as a gift, they would leave it on our drive. So I went to do the school run one morning, and there was this long, thin, wispy, 8-foot long branch with no leaves on it because it had been run over a few times on our drive. And I went, oh, marvellous. And I thought, well, I'll chop that up. It's got to go in the garden. So I picked it up and put it in the garden. It wasn't a heavy one. And took the kids to school. Didn't think a lot of it. The following day, I have a conservatory lean-to on the side of my house, and the key, I went to hang the key up and it fell off the hook. And I thought, well, that's weird. But I was in a weird mood and I went, I can't be bothered to even bend down and pick that up. And I just left it. The following day from that, I was leaving my house and I was texting at the same time. And as I shut the door behind me, I knew that I had left my house keys, car keys, hanging up on the hook by the front door and shut the door behind me. And there was no one in, nothing I could do. And the weirdest thing happened. Rather than getting stressed or upset, I had an appointment. I had an appointment for a massage and I was really looking forward to it. And I texted the lady that does my massage and I said, I'm going to be late. I've locked myself out of my house. I don't even know if I'm going to make it. And then Spirit just said to me, this voice in my head just said to me, you can get into the house if you want to. And I was like, no, I can't. And they said, yes, you can. And so on instinct, I went round the side of my house. I managed to climb up and get over my gate. And I was in the garden, and on the lean-to, one of the sort of, I don't know what you call them, fold up, fold down windows, glass, I don't know, they slide up to close, whatever they are. The windows had broken. And because that had broken, I managed to take the pane of glass out. Because I managed to take the pane of glass out, I managed to use that really long branch to go in through the window to hook up the keys that were on the floor, which I wouldn't have reached from the hook because the hook is hidden and round the side, to pull them out of the window to be able to unlock, to be able to go back into the house. And it was nuts. And the whole thing, working it all out and focusing on that, took me 4 minutes. 4 minutes I was back in my house and I managed to text my massage lady and say, I'm coming, I've broken in. And my husband wasn't too happy about it because he's a real safety freak. So we had to put in measures to make sure that I could never break into the house again. But it was just, everything I needed was there. The branch, the fact that I'd broken the window and I was able to remove the pane of glass because of that, the keys on the floor. It was just all smooth. It was all set up for me just to be able to do it. So there's some information for me from me about signs and different things that I've had. Oh, I know what I wanted to say as well. Orbs. I do believe that orbs are the spirit world. I do. I saw a really interesting medium the other day, quite an aggressive medium, I'll give her that, but I really like her. She does speak the truth. And she was shaking a tea towel in front of her camera to show that orbs are actually dust. Now, I do believe that some orbs are dust. Somebody put a thing on one of my groups once saying, was it my group or someone else's, saying we'd just moved house and I took a photo and there were loads of orbs. We'd just been putting up curtains. Well, I think that was probably the dust in the room. It might not have been. But when if you want to film orbs, it's very, very easy. You can try. You turn your brightness up on your mobile phone as bright as it will go. You put your torch on or your camera flash on constantly and ask the spirit world to show you that they're with you. And don't move your camera. Hold it still and sit. And you'll be amazed at orbs, the spirit world just coming up and showing you that they're there. But they're very different, I think, to dust ones because they'll move differently. You have a go, you'll see. So I'm not saying that all orbs are are the spirit world. And that lady shaking that tea towel did answer for me, because there's some mediums working out there who I'm pretty sure aren't working with spirit at all. And it did answer for me why they seem to have so many orbs on their videos, when I'm pretty sure they're not actually connecting to the spirit world. But, for yourself, have that experience, have a go, see, because it is mind blowing. So that's that. Now, a couple of things I wanted to do quickly. I'm going to be way over time today. I hope you've got a long time to listen to this podcast. I wanted to just shout out to Carmel, Carol and Madeline, who have all messaged in with such lovely messages of support for this podcast. Now, Jeanette has also emailed in, and she had a question that I wanted to answer. So let me just share her email. Hi, Hannah. Loving your podcast, although sometimes I have to listen to them more than once, as I often fall asleep whilst listening, as your voice is so soothing and makes me relax. Ask my husband about that. He does not find my voice relaxing. I have a question. I have had many readings over the years, some good, some not so good. I understand how a medium can read off your energy when in the same room and face to face, but struggling with how it can be done via email when essentially all you have is an email address. How can you tap into the person? I had a lovely 2021 reading done by Sue Q at the beginning of the year, which really did resonate with me, but I still don't understand how she could have got all that from an email and my name. Hope this makes sense, and I look forward to listening to more podcasts and hopefully a reading in the not too distant future. Right, Jeanette. So I may have talked about this on the podcast before. I've certainly been talking to somebody about this recently, but this physical world in which we live, it's an illusion. Now, I know I'm going to sound like a nutter, but that's all I have to say on it, really. If you've seen The Matrix, it is like The Matrix. We're just not powering up evil robots, to my knowledge. So we are all having this experience, and it's a bit like being in a computer program where everybody's experience is their own experience, even though there's a collective. So time and distance don't really exist. In the spirit world, there is no time. In the spirit world, there is no distance. And so we are in the spirit world, but we don't know it because we're having this physical experience. So when we are connecting to somebody, it's all about intention. It's all about just, sending out that thought, I'm working with this person. The spirit world obviously know that you have given your permission, if you like, by booking the reading, that you want to work this way. And so we can feel and see and receive from your energy that way. And then when you work with loved ones in spirit and spirit guides, because I get this question an awful lot, how can you connect to my loved ones in spirit if I'm in Spain and you're in the UK? Well, it's very, very simple. In layman's terms, your loved ones in spirit or your spirit guides are here with me in this space. And then I'm getting that information from them and I am verbalizing it to you. Very simple. But I actually don't believe that they're just with me. I do believe that they are with you too. So, because there's no space, there's no time, there's no space. So I'm glad you asked that now, Jeanette. You can go into sort of massive metaphysics and all that kind of stuff with understanding energy and Einstein and all of that stuff. It's too complicated for my tiny little pea brain. But essentially, everything is energy. And where energy is, there is nothing and everything. Yeah, I know. It's a bit much. I've been told that in the spirit world, they don't really have names. Names are a human construct. And if you want to connect to a spirit, you just think of that spirit's energy and you're together, you're there having an experience. But obviously I can't remember my time in the spirit world, and neither can you. So we'll have to just take their word for it with that. I hope that helps, Jeanette. I'm sure it doesn't really, because I can't really tell you. All I can say is Time doesn't exist, space doesn't exist. It's all about intention. There we go. So, one of the things I also wanted to talk about today, even though I'm way over time, but I'm going to do it because I said I was going to at the beginning, is a little bit about how mediumship works. Now, some of you will have heard me say this before, but it's something that's really, I find really, really interesting at the moment, is this sort of journey of a medium. So you will know, hopefully, that I don't believe that we're ever done as a medium. We're always progressing, we're always opening up, we're always expanding. And I'm trying to be very open about that. You know, I'm still developing my mediumship to make it better. At the moment, I'm working with 3 different teachers. Actually, it's a bit much. I need a rest. Trying to improve my mediumship and my connection. And the way that I view it is, you know, if you view your medium like a computer, we can only receive from the spirit world what we are able to receive, what our program can run. So I'm like an Atari from the 80s. That's how I view myself at the moment. And all the time I'm trying to upgrade and get new programming so I can run different things from the spirit world. So that is why when you go for a reading with somebody, different mediums get different things, because different mediums are open and able to receive different things, which is why you should always trust your instincts about the best medium for you. So your loved ones in spirit are very intelligent. They know the best bits of information to get through my program. So there's no point in me asking or trying to control the mediumship or telling your loved ones what I want to receive, because it might not be something that I'm able to interpret. So you have to do this partnership with the spirit world where you say to them, okay, I'm ready and willing. What do you want to share? And then they will send it to you. And, you know, my thing is that I don't, you know, the spirit world don't have voice boxes. Voice boxes are part of physical life. They are not part of spirit life. And, you know, before I was a medium, in my head, it was like you and I having a conversation. I'd say, hello, person in spirit. And they'd say, hello, Hannah, my name's Michael. And I'd go, oh, Michael, nice to meet you. You know, tell me this about your life. And Michael would answer. But actually, in reality, they are in a form of energy. They're in their soul form. And so when they send that energy to me to receive, to be able to interpret and give to you as a sitter, they know the best things that I will be able to understand. And it is, you know, mediumship is pretty much a case of opening yourself up again and again and again, more and more and more, to different things, different energies, different types of information. And that's what we're trying to do. That's what a good medium is always trying to do, is to expand their program to be able to receive more. So that's why when you go for a reading, you can't go in with that kind of, I want to hear about this, 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 and this. Or if she says this, then I'll know it's my grandfather really with her, because I might not be able to receive those things. And those of you that know me know that I'm obsessed with Surviving Death on Netflix. And if you haven't watched it, I really recommend it. The medium on there, Laura Lynn Jackson, who I think seems like a really good, really steady, proper medium. She says in that it's like playing charades. And that's exactly what it is like. Some things you'll get and they'll come in and you'll go, this, and it's exactly right. And some things you'll need to work at a little bit more to be able to understand and interpret. So I wanted to share that with you, because one of the things that I've really seen happening the more that I've taught is the sort of journey of spiritual development. And this is how I feel that it went for me. And this is how I feel that it goes for a lot of my students. So you start off with that calling, that idea, that thought that I'd quite like to work with the spirit world. This seems cool. This seems fun. And at the beginning, it's just so mind-blowing and exciting and wonderful, because anything you get, you can't bloody believe that you've got it. You can't believe that was right. You can't believe you gave that name and that person can take it. You can't believe you said you feel like they're moving house and they are. You're so blown away with it because you have no expectations. And then as you continue working with spirit and your development grows and grows, then you start to have expectations. And expectations are they're the thief of joy. There you go. Expectations are the thief of joy. They suck all of the fun out of your mediumship. And I say this to you as somebody who is incredibly hard on themselves, on being better and doing better. But you start off and then you just you start to put expectations on yourself. You have a good one and then you go, oh, well, I've got to be good again next time. Your mind is blown and then all of a sudden you want your mind to be blown every time. And that makes it harder and harder for the spirit world. And I wanted to share that because, you know, if you're at the beginning of your journey, don't rush ahead. Enjoy it. Accept the small victories. You know, high five with your spirit team. Be shocked, be amazed at what you've been able to achieve, and don't push through it too quickly. And if you are developing and you've been developing for some time, are you being a thief of your own joy? Are you taking all of the fun out of it for the spirit world as well as yourself? Because your expectations are ruining what could actually be a very profound and very amazing moment for you, for spirit, and for your sitter. And I just really felt that needed to be shared at the moment. So somebody out there needed to hear that. And I really wanted to say it today. So, you know, when you're going to see a medium, we're all developing. If they're a good medium, they're still trying to develop. And we're trying to get more and more openings in our energy to be able to receive different things. And I honestly can't tell you whether it's spirit that send it to me a certain way or whether it's me that interprets it a different way. But, you know, sometimes you'll get a picture, sometimes you'll get a feeling, sometimes it's just a knowing, sometimes you hear words. And I honestly can't tell you whether they just send me an energy and that's how I interpret it, or they go, she needs to hear this as a word, she needs to see this as a picture, she needs to have this as a feeling. I don't know. But all I know is that, you know, when you open, you receive these things all different ways, and sometimes one piece of evidence in all of those ways, and it builds and builds and builds. But it's, you know, you can only receive what you are able to receive. And so a medium's work is constantly trying to open themselves up to more and more and more different things, which is why when I'm doing a live, if you've ever seen those people that go, have you got a name? Have you got a this? Have you got a that? I never respond to them because I can't. If I start to do that, if I start to turn to that spirit and say, tell me this, tell me that, tell me this, I'm blocking that, I'm funneling that mediumship with what I am demanding rather than what is best for them to give me. So I hope that makes sense. And yes, sorry I've gone on a bit more today. I thought I didn't have much to say and it turns out I had loads. Who'd have thunk it? So the next podcast, if you are listening to this before the 30th of March 2021, if you're listening to this before then, the next podcast is going to be a live one. So if you go onto Mediumship Matters on Facebook, you'll be able to see the event. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm still going to record it like this so that you can listen. But there's an opportunity for you to ask questions live, to get involved, to, you know, we're going to all work together. So I'm hoping it's going to be something quite amazing. And I would love to have you there. So as always, thanks for listening. And any questions, anything you want to say, do drop me an email to podcast@hannahmedium.co.uk. Have a lovely day.